Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People's Show. Check the Pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. Hopefully you can hear me over the band behind me. People seem to be happy. This is what I call a feel-good game. It's a game you should win. It's a game you win. It's a game you win by the amount of points you probably should win by, and you feel good about it. Now, what can you learn? What can you truly learn from a game like this? You know, it's hard to tell. I did something I don't normally do with my gut reaction. I took notes, all right? Because I wanted to see what we could win, but at the same time, I don't want to overanalyze this, because to me, this is more about what we can do going forward. What can we take from this going forward? All right, so some of the positives. We saw a little bit of fast-paced offense out there, especially in the beginning of the game. Where has that been? I am glad to see it back. Okay, I was excited to see the Huskers pick up the pace on offense, the read option, the return of the read option. In fact, they put a guy in motion, turned it into the triple read option offense on a few plays, and hit the pitch man on some of those plays. I was excited to see some of those things. Now, Martinez, with his passes, I'll get to that stuff in a minute. You know, let's just stay with the positives. Martinez looked better when he decided to run. He looked more decisive. He looked a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. Okay, so I like to see things like that. The defense forced turnovers, all right? They were able to, Fordham got into our territory a few times, especially in the first half. We were able to get off the field by forcing some turnovers. We made all of our PATs. That excited me. All right, we had less penalties. Looked much more disciplined when it came to the penalty area of things. The ball came out a few times. All right, I'm saving that stuff for here in a minute. And we got stronger as the game went along. Okay, as the game went along, even in the fourth quarter, when you saw some of the younger guys, the second, third string guys, I felt like we got stronger and stronger as the game went along, as we should against a team like this. Now, as I put it here, the not so positives. We started slow. In fact, we punted 2 of our first 3 possessions. For a while, the game was tied and within a touchdown. Far too long, in my opinion. There was some sloppy and inconsistencies throughout the game, and especially in that first half. The second half, we looked much better. We looked more like we should. Okay, just not fundamentally sound. It was almost like we had a hard time getting going in that first half. Inconsistent blocking up front in the run game until that second half, and particularly in the fourth quarter, we were able to open up some more running lanes. Okay, defensively, not quite a consistent enough pass rush, in my humble opinion, and tackling's got to continue to improve and get better. Again, these things look better in the second half. A lot of these are from the first half of the game. Man, I love Cam Taylor-Britt. But he had a fumble on a punt return. Okay, so that was tough. So my final reaction, my final thoughts, my final gut reaction and or feelings, it was good to see some of the young guys get out there. Some of them looked pretty good. Logan Smothers came in. I know he had the fumble, but he looked good throwing, looked good on the runs. He even threw guys open a couple times. So we just got to bring those passes in. When I say that, it means they weren't open when he threw it, but the timing and the placement of the ball threw them open. We just got to bring some of those in. Now, this is a great momentum game, confidence builder game. Now, we know it's Fordham. Nobody's fooled by this. This is a team that hasn't scored a touchdown on a Power 5 team since 1969. Of course, their football program hasn't played a lot of Power 5 teams. In fact, it was canceled at one point during the war. So keep that in mind. The Huskers were a 42-point favorite. You know, I thought this was interesting. I saw this on Facebook, so I can't take credit for this. But we paid Fordham $500,000 for this game. Okay? We also pay head coach Scott Frost $416,667 a game. So we paid almost $1 million for this win. Now, I'm not pointing that out as some sort of negative thing. Was this worth it going forward? As I said in the beginning of the gut reaction, was this worth it going forward? Did we build confidence? Did we get some momentum? Okay, I think we did. And as the game went along, we looked stronger. We looked better. The young guys came in, as we should have looked from the opening kickoff. All right, you look at a guy like Omar Manning. And I've met him before. He's a guy who looks me out. He almost looks like a defensive end. Okay, when you saw him compared to Fordham's offensive line, he looked bigger than most of them. So we had the ability to out-athlete them, okay, which we did. And we were able to be more physical as the game went along. But we got to start faster. Okay, what I see from this team, because there was a lot of positives, which you'd expect from a game like this, but what I see, we're not going to get out-athleted by a ton of teams. Oklahoma, Ohio State, they're going to be right there with us, if not have a little bit better athletes. It's mentally, we're a step or just a hesitancy second slow behind where we could be. We got to get rid of that. Okay, that'll get rid of the sloppiness that we saw at times early on in the game, the inconsistency, things of that nature. Get rid of that mental hesitancy, because that's what we're missing right now in order to be more consistent. Okay, and get rid of that sloppiness in some of the play that we've had. All right, I do believe that as the game wore on, we gained some confidence, we gained some momentum. Okay, we'll see how it goes into next week. That Buffalo team put up a lot of points last year. They put up 69 points. I don't know who they played, Wagner or something like that. Wagner can't be worse than Fordham, but 69 points. So that's going to be an interesting game. Because Fordham to Buffalo to Oklahoma, can we build? That's the question for me. That's my gut reaction. Let me know your thoughts. Omaha.com/Carriker, Facebook, Twitter. Look me up, hit me up, YouTube as well. Until next time, Husker Nation, go big, Greg. One of my longest gut reactions in history. And always remember to throw the bones.